speak the same language. I be flexing out in public for no reason. Swear to God you fuck with me and then my team will leave you bleeding for no reason. Casper the dopest ghost might be a demon. Catch you sleeping, I'ma haunt you till you see me when you're dreaming.
What up, you
Sometimes you just gotta do your own shit. Like, fuck everybody who pretends to support you. Everybody that trying to ride the wave, like, fuck them, bro. They don't want to show you love. They don't want to show you support. You don't really need that negative.
What up, YouTube? Big G, Penny Pincher Transport here. What's going down? So anyway, my last video was about a turbo blew out. So you might have caught in that video I mentioned till 9 days. That's because I knew I was going to make this video back to back. I just couldn't put them together. It was going to be a long rip. So anyway, 9 days later, let's get to it. I got a load coming out of Frankfort, Indiana, going to Aberdeen, Maryland. Frito-Lay, 11,000 pound load. Got my load picked up. You know, left Indy, went to the Schneider OC, grabbed the trailer, headed up to Frankfurt, did a drop and hook, got my load, and made it pretty much all the way to, gosh, I'd say a little bit past Zanesville, something like that, you know, a little bit past there, the rest area. I shut down, took a 10, continued to run the load the next day, got on that I-68, you know where it is, between West Virginia and Maryland. Real nasty road. I hate it. It's hilly. Luckily, 11,000 pounds doesn't really affect the truck unless you're having problems like I was. I thought the truck was lagging, didn't really know what was going on, didn't have no indicator lights. Just got into Fredericksburg just before Baltimore. I want to say that's what it was. Harrisburg, or yeah, somewhere right in there. Dummy lights come on. My stoplight started flashing red on my dash. Truck shut off in the middle of the interstate. Got it over on the shoulder, hit my flashers. Sat there for a minute, tried to figure out what was going on. I had like 19 miles to my destination. Fired the truck up. It did okay. I crawled. Got it to Aberdeen. Did a drop and hook there. Got parked at a Pilot because I had to reserve a spot because I knew it was going to be like 10 o'clock at night. And this Pilot only had like 30 spots. So if you don't reserve, you don't park. Because there's no parking out there. So went to sleep. Woke up the next morning. Thought, well, there's a Freightliner dealership like 20 miles away. Gonna go over there, do a diagnostic. Truck wouldn't even move. It'd get like 7-8 miles an hour and start sputtering and choking. It kept dying. So I got out, looked at some things, talked to a couple of the drivers. We tried a couple of things. Long story short, had to call a wrecker. $525 tow. Luckily my trailer was empty this time. They told me to 20 miles to Freightliner. It was, now this particular place was a brand new Freightliner. I guess they're there maybe a year. In Elkton, Maryland, off of the 109 exit on the I-95. So I get there. Of course, they're closed. They close at 8 o'clock. Hell, they weren't even open on Saturdays. They just started opening Saturdays 2 weeks after that. So I get there, and I just sleep in the truck that night. And of course, the next day, they're like, man, we may not even be able to look at your truck till like 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon because we have like 26 trucks that come in over the weekend that were here before yours. Which, I don't know if that's true, whatever the case, but you know it's Freightliner, they're going to ding you. You're going to pay for hotels, because once they get that truck through their shop and they park it out back, they don't let you stay in it or anything. Most of them don't. I guess they don't want to do any work and then you take off with the truck. But my truck wasn't going anywhere because it was undone. So, of course, I get the diagnostic done the next morning, and they tell me my DEF filters are breached. I'm like, what do you mean? I just had them replaced, blah, blah, blah. I baked them. So instead of the guy giving me the reason, he wants to argue with me. Oh, well, you know, Freightliner don't recommend you baking the filters, blah, blah, blah. We recommend you to replace it with new. I'm like, hold on, they're your filters anyway. We're just cleaning them. So, you know, they're like, baking's not good. I'm like, well, it's actually kind of like an acid. They only use an oven to kind of dry them. They don't really get them that hot. But long story short, you guys know all about that video. Evidently, when the turbo went out a week and a half prior to, all the soot and all the stuff it blew through that exhaust manifold went down and blew big cracks, holes through them filters, which breached the DEF system. So I was getting all the carbon monoxide and the soot out of the exhaust pipe, which the whole reason for the DEF is so none of that stuff passes through the exhaust for the environment. So the guy's like, I can show you where you idled a little bit last night, and there literally was a 4 foot by wide by like 6 feet long, 1/4 inch thick, just black soot all over the ground. You could lay in it and do an angel. I mean, it was nasty. So I took his word for it, and they told me what would have caused it, blah, blah, blah. And they were surprised that FIDA didn't clean out that system before putting that turbo on. So, you know, it's always your words against theirs. So they said, of course, we don't have them because we got 4 other ones we're installing. And come to find out, like, every truck that was there was getting those filters. I feel like that's the main cost of these trucks anymore on the new trucks. So I stay in a hotel a night. They get the parts in, and they tell me it's like $3,500 again to replace the filters. Okay, so do it. Of course, they didn't get it done till the next day. So I got 2 nights in the hotel, and I'm down Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because I stayed in the truck Monday night. So Tuesday and Wednesday was hotels. So then Tuesday all day they come out. They say, "Hey, we found out it's your one box." I'm like, "What do you mean my one box?" It's the whole box where the whole filtering system goes in that I've showed in past videos. They've had to replace that whole box. That box is $8,000. I was like, hell no. I said, I don't even have the money for it, so you might as well park it out back. I got to figure some things out, come up with this money, because, you know, the filters is one thing, but the box, that's a whole nother animal. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I was just mind blown. Now, this was going into Labor Day weekend, which my wife and I'd planned on being back Friday, and we were going to drive down to Georgia to visit our son. He's at the military base down there in Augusta. And so here it is, Thursday, and I'm still sitting with a broke. So the wife rents a car Thursday night, drives all the way down Friday, the 700 miles, stays at the hotel with me, which is like my 4th night in the hotel. And we got up and went to Georgia. Well, I was trying to figure out funding for this. So basically get back to Indy Monday, talk to some banks. Always takes 10 days to get your money, 10, 12 days. Finally, they wired the money to my account. I called them, and my bill was going to be $12,600 with the new filters, new one box. So send them half the money up front, pay them the rest when they're done. And this was a Tuesday. They started the work. They call me Wednesday. It's not done. So I'm like, what do you mean it's not done? So I call them back Wednesday night, because I stayed on them with the phone, because I need to get back to work. I've done missed pretty much. This is 2 weeks not working. And so I told them I'm renting a car on Thursday. I'm driving down. I got a hotel booked. I'll be picking my truck up Thursday. So they call me, oh, well, we try to start your truck up. The batteries are dead. Well, we got a kill switch right here next to the driver's seat where you shut off the switch. When they get done doing diagnostics, they know that truck's sitting, they should have just shut that switch off. But no, they left it on, drained all my batteries, and killed them. Instead of charging them, they said they wouldn't charge. They said they were bubbling acid. So they charged me $600 for batteries, plus like another 90 for labor. So it was like almost $700 for batteries. So then my bill went up to like 13,400 or whatever. So yeah, it was joke after joke. But Elkton, Maryland, if you don't have to ever use that Freightliner, don't ever use them. They're rude, they're unorganized. All the service writers, they hate their job. They're all stressed out. It's a nightmare. Everyone there's got too many people doing the same thing, and they're all confused. It's a nightmare place. Everybody that come in there the whole time I was there was raising so much hell with them, because they'd give a timeline, and it'd be 3 or 4 days later they still wouldn't be done with it. They're just so unorganized. Worst experience ever as far as Freightliner. But anyway, so I rent a car Friday morning. I'm like, I don't care. I'm coming to get my truck. It's gotta be done. So rented a car Friday morning, flew up there 700 miles. Get up there, find out the truck is done. They didn't finish it at 10:30 that night. Like the same time I showed up, they were finishing it up. So they went to call me. I didn't have a signal. They called my wife. They said it was done. So I drove over there with the rental car, unloaded all my stuff in my rig, went in, paid them the difference, returned my rental car. Luckily, Enterprise is cool. They brought me back to the Freightliner shop and got in my truck and went 70 miles, parked at my customer where I was picking up a load, a very light load, 18,000 pounds in pretzels, was going to take back to back towards the house, just to get back in the Midwest, get out of the East Coast. And of course I got engine lights and all that coming on, and I was real close to I was on I-81 real close to Carlisle and Harrisburg, and so I'm like, before I get on this turnpike and start heading that way in case there's problems, I'm going to have Schneider look at this truck. Schneider don't really touch owner-operators' trucks, but they will run a diagnostic and tell you what's wrong with them. So I get in there. Mechanic instantly knew what was wrong with it. He said there was a harness they should have swapped out, and they didn't. And because my truck's older, because Schneider only keeps trucks for 3 years, mine's a 13. I mean, they're running the 19s, so they only got like 16 through 19, and they have a newer harness that runs into that one box from the DEF pump. And so they had to find a retro adapter, and they had to order the part. So I'm thinking, oh, I'll be sitting here another night. But they got it within a couple hours, fixed the truck, charged me $328, got me rolling. But it'd been so many hours before they got the truck done, plus I had already been driving that day. The mechanic at Schneider had told me that he found 6 bolts missing in the one box, and it was causing everything to rattle around in there. So, and it was causing that harness to bounce around and arc and everything else. So, like, they screwed me so bad. Like, they were getting ready to cost me a whole lot more money if I would have just kept driving. Luckily, Schneider went in there and cleaned up their mess. Horrible experience. One boxes, DEF systems, trash. And that's all I can say. I just hate the whole trucking industry the way it is now. I'm out here almost 20 years, and it's just not what it used to be. I mean, technology is cool, but some of it we don't even need. We just don't even need it. And these new systems, it's like basically humans getting cancer. I mean, it's a billion-dollar industry. They're making so much money off these DEF systems. They'll never want to get rid of them, because that's what stays in them shops. It's what keeps the shops busy. It's just, and there's a lot of old school shops don't even mess with them. So Freightliner's got you. And then you get there, and they work on all these trucks all the time, but they have to keep sending your diagnostic to an analyst at Detroit over, because it's what kind of motor's in the truck. And they got to wait for them to give them the answer to know what to do. Like, they should know what to automatically do if they work on these trucks every day. They don't need to have every diagnostic analyzed by Detroit and wait 3-4 hours for an answer back. It's a joke. It's a way to steal your money. And it was a horrible experience. Horrible experience. So that was it. That was horrible. But that's all I got, man. This is video 46. I'm going to Try to stay on these, but I've been going through some things, but you know, it's life, right? It's life. But we're rolling again. Everything is brand new now, so keep my fingers crossed. Knock on plastic, wood, whatever. This thing will run good for a while because it just had basically open heart surgery and everything else. Big G, I'm out. Have a good one.